that they would just do a line of GameCube games coming out for the 3DS, because they have Luigi's Mansion. I think, if I'm probably mistaken, but that's the only GameCube game that was brought over to the 3DS, and that's really awesome. So if they could like keep doing that, just bringing GameCube games to the 3DS, I'd be down for that. I get Mario Sunshine, and if they would bring Resident Evil, like that would be so cool if they, instead of having like the PS1 one for the original DS, if they brought over the GameCube one for the 3DS, that would be so cool. Like, they could do a lot with that. But really, they would probably have to put most of it to the new 3DS. And I don't have that one. Ugh. And another one that I remember. Everyone's gonna make fun of me for this, because it's one of my guilty pleasures, and it's genuinely, like, it's up there in my game list that I really like. And the ironic thing is I don't have it anymore, but Sonic Adventure Battle 1 and 2. Those are some of the most nostalgic things ever. Like, I remember the day my brother got his GameCube, and it came with the Sonic DX, and it was just so exciting. Like, every time I listen to the soundtrack, like, I love that soundtrack. I love the Sonic DX. I get chills, because I know, I'm sorry, I just sound so dumb, but I'm just really passionate about GameCube games, because I just feel like that even with the Sonic game, which are kind of mediocre now, like even the GameCube ones, like if it was on the GameCube, then it was a good cube. Like, it wasn't a square, it was whatever. But yeah, Resident Evil, I mean, Mario Sunshine, Luigi's Mansion, those are the ones I've mentioned. Oh, what else was there? Oh, Harvest Moon. Harvest Moon, what's it called? A Wonderful Life and Another Wonderful Life. I got A Wonderful Life when, oof, I had to be like 5 or 6. I got it for Christmas from my grandma, and I didn't really know what it was. And honestly, I'm still kind of freaked out about it, but I couldn't play that game when I was a kid. I would ask my dad to play the game for me so I could watch him, because I was just terrified of it. It has this weird, creepy vibe, because I used to be deathly afraid of the hobo that would want to, like, steal. Okay, let me start over. I don't. I think it was Mori Mori, I don't know, but it was like this one bum that lived in the town. He would try and ask you for a potato. I was so scared of him, because whenever I heard like the I thought that was him, but it was really, after all these years, I found out that was your stomach growling, and I thought it was him making a sound, because my dad gave him a potato, and then every time I loaded the game, I had to kick him out of my farm because he was stealing from my fridge. And then that creepy scientist always tried to steal my cow and my kid, and it was a mess. I was so scared of that game, and even now I can't play it. Like, I just can't. Like, I play it for a few minutes and it's fun, but then I just kind of remember, like, all these fears I used to have as a kid, and I'm just like, I can't do this. It's too real for me. Because, really, it's kind of boring. It's mostly based around just you progressing your farm instead of, like, really solving a mystery or having a story of any kind. But it's just such a dark game, really. It's kind of heavy for a kid, because I don't want to spoil it, but the ending, that's heavy. And it just shows how they kind of gave more kids to handle back then, but now Nintendo, I know that it was made by Natsumi or whatever, but it seems like nowadays Nintendo kind of focuses more on innocence, and I know I like that about them, but I feel like that they don't challenge kids enough, because Animal Crossing back then, they said some weird stuff, but now it's just kind of like happy. I don't know, I just feel like that back in my day, kids were challenged more with kind of heavy adult stuff, and it made you feel, I this isn't the best way to put it, but it made you feel smart in a way, because you're a kid, and you're kind of dealing with these things that you know adults deal with, so you kind of feel like on their level, and you feel mature when you play even Harvest Moon. But now it's just kind of straightforward, and kids don't really get challenged enough. I feel like that companies kind of don't take them seriously, and they just play these things that are really easy, when really they should be challenged a little more than just Minecraft or something like that. But Harvest Moon, you have to like rub a gravestone. There's like a mini game where you have to clean the gravestone, and that's not, that's kind of deep. Like, that's heavy even for me, because I don't like things revolving around like death and stuff. So that's another reason I'm kind of a wimp when it comes to that. Like, I usually don't really play that game much, but it's just another good memory. Like when I used to play it 24 hours a day when I was 12. Just spend all my breaks just trying to level up. I still can't figure out how to get bananas. Like, I'm not that good, but I have the butter factory. That's about as far as I got. But it's just so time consuming, and I don't really have time for games right now that are that time consuming. Yeah, I play The Sims, so that's saying something. What's another GameCube game? Shadow the Hedgehog. I never got into that. It was just edgy, and it was just ridiculous. But I love how the president has a picture of Sonic. The video game president, not the real one. No. Ugh. My mind is just going blank now. Those are like my main favorites that I always enjoyed playing on the GameCube. Resident Evil, and I don't know. I know that's violent, but for some reason, yeah, I just noticed, like, I can't play a harmless, like, E-rated Harvest Moon. Yeah, I was obsessed with Resident Evil. Like, that just shows how weird my brain is. That I can't play a game about farming, yet I can play a game about shooting reanimated corpses in the head. Yeah. I honestly can't think of any more GameCube games, and I'm just saying how much I love it, but... Oh. Well, it's not really just for the GameCube, but Zelda. Zelda is another one of my favorites. Like, Twilight Princess, I never got to play that one, because that was more of my brother's game, and by the time I had an interest in it, I couldn't get into it. But I absolutely love Majora's Mask. Like, I want to get it for 3DS, but it's still expensive. But I love Majora's Mask. I love Ocarina of Time. I'm not I'm not one of those people that say, this is the best game in the world, fight me! I'm like, no, I know it has its flaws. I really enjoy it. And I guess I'm one of those annoying people too that likes it for nostalgia, but I don't know, I like it. I like the ideas, and it doesn't really work all the time in Ocarina or Majora, but still, it's just, you can, like, they tried new things, and I just really like that. Like, I kind of wish that I could play Majora's again, just to see, because when I was a kid, my cousin had it, and then my brother got it, and it was fun watching them, but I never really got a chance to get into it. But now that I have more of an understanding of how to play those games, like, I have Ocarina for 3DS, but I just feel like that I'd be able to understand it more now that I'm older. But Wind Waker, I enjoyed Wind Waker, but I got to a point where I just got stuck and I never really progressed anymore. And now I can't afford it to buy it back. But those are really the most notable ones in my opinion. Because there was also Melee. Smash Brothers is like one of the only fighting games that I can actually enjoy anymore. Because I remember I was really young when we got Smash Brothers Melee. That was, you see, the GameCube, it just had such a great line of games. I feel like the Switch is the new GameCube because the Switch just keeps getting all these great new games. But Melee, it was so interesting because it was the first Smash Brothers that I've played, and the characters, I just enjoyed the characters in it, and the levels. I still kind of wish they would bring more of the levels to the newer ones, but Melee was really the last, in my opinion, the last one that I enjoyed, because Brawl was okay, but it just didn't have the same charm as Melee, and even though it had more to select from, it feels like the selection you had wasn't as good as Melee. And I actually have played the Wii U one. And then, again, it was okay, I feel like that Melee, I don't know, it just had something that the other ones didn't. Because even though it had less characters, I just feel like it had more to the game. But really, I don't really play, very rarely do I play fighting games. I've played Tekken on the Wii U. That was I actually enjoyed that. And I have Street Fighter for the Genesis. What else? I know Naruto. I remember that from the GameCube. Naruto and Ninja Turtles. Those are some other iffy games that were on the GameCube. But, one of the reasons why I don't enjoy fighting games that much anymore is because when I was 12, I was at a graduation party, my brother's graduation party, and he had Soul Calibur out for, I think it was for the Dreamcast, but I was playing it, and I really wanted to, like, I was so desperate to look like I knew what I was doing, and I was with the big kids, you know, but now they're not that big to me anymore, and I was playing Soul Calibur with them, and I got really embarrassed because they called me out. They're like, "You're button mashing," and I was just kind of like, "What?" And I was button mashing because I didn't really know any of the moves, so no one wanted to play with me. And to this day, I still kind of think about it, and I know that they're probably not angry at me anymore, but I still think about it. I like wake up in a cold sweat, and I'm like, I button mashed, and now no one wants to play with me. So that was a moment in my life that, I mean, Freud would tell me that's the reason why I'm messed up. It's that button mashing incident of when I was 12. Well, I don't know, fighting games, like I said, fighting games just don't really interest me that much. Oh boy. I have so much to talk about. Like, I feel like this podcast I've been mostly talking about GameCube and fighting games. I can't really think of any more GameCube games. I'm trying to think really hard. Most of them were my brother's, so I remember Namco Museum. It's just a collection of Namco games, and then, you know, all the Sonic collection, Gem collection, Blue Fart collection, whatever. I just remember all those. More of my, like, more of my generation. Like, I played more PS2 games. Like, I love the GameCube, but I was obsessed with The Sims, and I still am. Like, the first Sims game I tried was probably My Sims for the Wii.